We've got an officer in need of assistance. Gunfire reported in, Mission Row.
Roger. We're heading over now.
10-4, copy that.
It was a cloudy morning when a group of people playing basketball at Unattended, Barangay Apapong, Bagani, South Cotabato. 2 suspected men wearing bonnet, riding a motorcycle holding a suspicious item towards the crowd. While on the middle of their game, a suspected man got off to his motorcycle and leave the suspicious item on the top of the chair. They don't even notice his actuations. A suspected man successfully gained his motive and left the bag. While putting the suspicious item, one of the witnesses saw their doings. Meanwhile, one of the players taking his rest while he noticed that there was a suspicious bag connected with wires outside. He even asked his colleagues who owns it, but no one answered. He called immediately the nearest police station about the situation. The desk officer received the call and gathered all the information given and put into record and informed his chief of police about the receiving call of the caller. The chief of police instructed the alert team who conducted mobile patrolling to respond to the incident. Upon the arrival, the first responders assist the situation. The first responders approach the informant and show to them the unattended baggage left by the suspects. According to the informant, one of the witnesses saw the description of the suspects. The first responders looked and observed the unattended item and confirmed that there were wires attached into it. He immediately notified his chief of police about the situation and gave the description of the suspects. The chief of police instructed the desk officer to request immediately the assistance of POPEx bomb squad and informed the Compact or the Community Police Action Center to intensify their conflict checkpoint for possible arrest of the suspects. The chief of police conducted immediately briefing to his personnel and emphasized the police operational procedure in responding a suspicious item. The first responder clear the area and evacuate all the people and designate a safe assembly area with a minimum distance of 150 meters from suspected item. The first responders must cordon and control the area. The purpose of a cordon is to protect the public, first responder on the scene, and prevent unauthorized interference with an investigation. The chief of police and the investigator on case immediately respond to the scene. The chief of police and his investigator on case arrived at the scene, and the IOC conducted initial investigation and established an incident command post. The chief of police gave regular updates to the city director on the scene. Meanwhile, the ambulance from the PNP Health Service and Bureau of Fire Protection arrived and stand by at the scene for possible emergency situations. At this point, the team leader of PNP bomb squad conducted briefing prior to their dispatch. The PNP technicians arrived at the area and had an initial briefing together with the chief of police and his investigator on case. The investigator on case assists the PNP team. The OD technicians cautiously enter the cordon area and examine and observed the suspicious item. Upon the visual search of the OD technicians, they noticed and examined that the suspected item was negative from any components of an improvised explosive device or IED. The OD team removed and brought the item to their office. The investigation on case determined that this was purely a bomb scare. Right after the incident, the personnel of Bagani Police Station and the EOD team conducted debriefing led by the Chief of Police Police Major and Arsenio Hiastro. Few hours after the incident, while the personnel of the Compact conducted intensified conflict checkpoint, the police personnel identified and flagged down the 2 suspects riding on a motorcycle based on the description given by the witness. The personnel successfully arrested the suspects, conducted body search, and recited their Miranda rights. Then properly turn over to Begani Police Station for investigation and disposition. After the arrest, the arresting officer accompanied the suspects to the desk officer. The desk officer will put into record on the blotter book all the vital information about the suspects. The police officers will conduct pat-down search to the suspect. The next step, the suspects will undergo medical examination to a government hospital to be accompanied by the arresting officer. The desk officer must prepare the medical request before proceeding to the hospital. The duty physician examined the arrested suspect based on the identified given form to determine the physical condition, alcohol or drugs as the case may be. The form shall be signed by the officer on duty, but in his absence the desk officer may be signed. After the medical examination, and part of the booking process is the fingerprint or 10 prints. The suspect will roll all 10 fingers from side to side to record all the prints. If the crime in question has fingerprint evidence, they're compared to the suspects to either find a match or eliminate the suspect. The suspect's fingerprints remain in a database indefinitely. The next step will be the mug shots. The suspect stands for a series of photos collectively. These photos often indicate the suspect's height and include the date and other information tying them to the incident. Finally, the suspect is placed in a holding cell or other secure facility to await trial or the posting of bail. After completing the booking process, a suspect is typically allowed to make a phone call. You should contact a lawyer or family member who can retain a lawyer on your behalf.